Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. We have been doing a lot of videos lately on this Troy Bikt Super Bronco. This belongs to a customer and friend of mine, Carlton. And this has been a long-awaited project because we had trouble getting parts. The last video I did, I think, was the rear drive differential pulley that needed to be replaced. So anyway, we got that together. I cleaned the carburetor, tuned it up, got it running well. Went to drive it around a bunch of times to test the drive pulley, the drive belt, that kind of thing. And the new belt on the deck had gotten twisted, and it was on that side of this spring catch. So as you can see, it frayed the belt ever so slightly, and there was a lot of fuzz here, which gave me the idea that something was wrong. You see all the fuzz? That's just fuzz that came off of the belt. Now the belt is brand new and it's still in great shape, so there's nothing to worry about since we caught the problem. It was just a matter of putting that back on the correct side, because when the belt goes on, there's no springs on it right now. When the belt goes on where it's supposed to be, it goes where it's supposed to go. But the grinding is what bothered me. I don't like to give back machines when there's clearly something wrong. And in this case, the deck would grind every time I turned on the blades, and it made a really loud sound. You would be able to tell. So even though I didn't want to spend another 2 hours on this thing, because every time you mess with something it takes a while, I don't want to give this thing back to a customer if there's a problem that I know about. So the first thing I did was just give it a quick check. I pulled off the belt guards to make sure that there was no grease fitting on the top half of the spindle, which there wasn't. I pulled the deck off, flipped it over, and looked on the bottom of the spindles. There's 3 of them here. There's 1, 2, 3 on this deck, to make sure that there was no grease fitting. I was hoping if there was a grease fitting and this thing just been setting for a while, you know, you grease it up. But a lot of these garden tractors don't have grease fittings. You can drill and tap a grease fitting into it. It's a pain in the butt, and it's often not necessary. Spindles are $30 a piece or so. So the next step was, in this particular case, this deck is a 2-belt system. Okay, 1 belt goes strictly around the pulleys and around the spindles, and then the other belt, the top belt, goes up to the engine. Okay, so in order to spin these pulleys by hand, you can't have any tension on them. So being off the mower, you know there's no tension on there, and you can spin that, and it spins. It doesn't wobble. It spins. Doesn't make noise. Doesn't wobble. Okay. Then I had to take the lower belt off. This is just a spring-loaded arm here. That's what this spring here is for. And that just keeps tension on that belt. You see that spring move back there? It just keeps tension on the lower belt. So you take that spring off, the belt comes loose, then you can start spinning the pulleys. It's got 1 pulley and then 3 spindles. So I spin that one. It's making a little bit of noise, but nothing to be concerned about. It's not our issue. We do the same thing on this side. If I can get to it. The brake is on, I forgot. Make sure that the brake is not on, which is sort of a pain when nothing is where it's supposed to be because all your springs aren't in place. But if you back that brake off, you can spin it. That one's making more noise than the first one. Now this middle one Make sure we're clear. You hear the difference? That spindle is going bad. That one is good. It barely makes any noise at all. That one's not so good. It's probably got another season in it. Maybe 2. There's no way to grease it, so it's a matter of unbolting the spindle. They all work the same. They have 3 or 4 bolts that come in from the underside of the deck, and they just bolt in place. So that one's making some noise. I wouldn't worry about changing that one, but this center one is grinding like it's got coffee to do. And that's where the noise is coming from. So I'm making this video for Carlton to show him that I am really going through all this stuff and trying to make sure that his motor's in top-notch condition. So I hope that helps you. Let me flip this up and I'll show you what it looks like. Your spindles right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. That's all. You just unbolt them. The spindle comes out from the top of the deck. You put the new one in, put the pulleys back on. That's our left one, not making too much noise. A little bit. Right one, a little bit. Our middle one sounds like a thunderstorm. So that's the issue. These blades definitely need to be replaced, and they are off center a little bit too, which is probably because the spindle is not so good. But the blades need to be replaced, and that middle spindle needs to be replaced. Thanks for stopping by. Hit the subscribe button. See you soon.